Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm gonna review Roz from Monsters Inc. Her ability description is clears vertical and horizontal line of zooms. The game demonstration you're currently watching is a skill level 1 game demonstration, so her ability is going to range from extra small to needing 23 zooms to activate her ability. So depending on which skill level you have her at, that's going to determine how many zooms it's required to activate her ability. As you level up Roz, the amount of zooms that's needed to activate her ability will drop. So at skill level 1, you're going to need 23, but if you could get her to skill level 6, then you're only going to need 17 to activate her ability. That's why you'll see on the top right hand corner that to activate her ability, it's going to range from 17 to 23, and that's going to vary depending on your skill level. As for the score, it's going to be between 60 for minimum, and then maximum if you get her to level 50, then it'll be 942. So she's not going to be amazing for score, and you probably wouldn't use her to try to get a high score. But if you do decide to try to max her out to get her to skill level 6, you'll need a total of 32 copies of her in the premium box. Or you can use skill tickets, but I personally wouldn't recommend you to use your skill tickets on Roz. And by the way guys, if you are interested in seeing more Zoom reviews just like this, or monthly leaks, or just regular gameplays, please consider subscribing to this channel. It'll help me out a lot. Alright, so let's take a look at the skill chart on the bottom right hand corner here. So like I mentioned earlier, depending on what skill level you have her at, the number of zooms needed to activate her ability will range from 23 to 17. But also the skill range will also increase, so every 2 times you level up her skill, the skill range is going to increase slightly. Between skill level 1 and 2, the skill range is going to be extra small, and then skill level 3 and 4 it goes to small, and skill level 5 and 6 goes to medium. So it actually doesn't get any bigger than medium, but you'll be able to see the effects later on in this video. So let me show you a side-by-side gameplay between skill level 1, 2, and 3. So there are a couple of things that are different between these 3 skill levels. It's going to be the skill range. So you'll see the difference between skill level 2 and 3, that the skill range does get a little bit bigger. And then the amount of zooms that's needed to activate her ability will be different between skill level 1 and 2. So it's hard to determine that because you'll essentially just get more activations per game between skill level 1 and skill level 2. So let's talk a little bit about strategy though. And this really depends on what type of player you are. So if you are someone that don't want to get too complicated with the gameplay, then what you should do is for your strategy is before you activate her ability, you want to make sure that all the zooms are settled down, meaning that it's all going to be there before you press that button to activate her ability. The reason why you want to do that is you want to make sure the screen is full of zooms before you activate her ability, getting the maximum amount of chain that's possible for you to clear. Alternatively, if you are a little bit more strategic, you'll notice that the first ability is the vertical clear. And if you've been playing this game for a little bit or watched these videos, you'll know that behind the coin counter and the score counter, after you pop a magic bubble there, there's going to be zooms there. So what you want to do is you actually want to pop as many magic bubble off the screen before you activate Roz's ability. And don't worry about how many zooms are left on the screen. And that's because after you pop a magic bubble, it will automatically trigger the zooms to fall right behind the score counter. So just imagine that there's a funnel at the very top, and that's where all the zooms are falling down. And because the first burst ability is a vertical clear, it's going to burst everything that's falling down. And another thing to note is that the second ability, or the horizontal clear, that size doesn't change. So regardless if you are playing a skill level 1 or skill level 6, that horizontal bar that comes out later is going to be standard, so that part doesn't change. So what might be helpful is for me to show you a side-by-side comparison of all the abilities activated at the same time. That way you guys can see what I'm talking about. So let me slow it down here and show you what's going on. So Roz will come out, and like I mentioned earlier, the first ability is going to be the vertical clear. So take a closer look here. It's going to be a little bit hard to differentiate, but between skill level 1 and skill level 2, you'll be able to see that the skill range is pretty much the same. You'll see that there's only going to be 3 rows of zooms that's available there, or 3 columns, not rows, that's vertical. But for skill level 3, you'll be able to see that some of the vertical columns there, it goes out to be 4 or 3 to 4, not necessarily all 4s, but you'll notice that it's a little bit thicker compared to skill level 1 and 2. So skill level 1, I got a chain of 15, skill level 2, I got a chain of 19, and the reason why these are a little bit different is because there was a little gap for skill level 1 and I didn't pop a bubble before activating the ability. But for skill level 3, you'll be able to see that there is a big difference. That for skill level 3, I got a chain of 24. So this is the only part that's really going to be different between all the skill levels. The next part is the horizontal clear. And this part, it doesn't matter what skill level you have her at, it's going to remain the same. So if you take a look at all three of the skill level, it's roughly about 3 rows thick. So not much change here, and this should be pretty consistent because I also have a magic bubble in the way for all 3 of them. So ideally, you don't want these magic bubbles to get in the way, but in this case, it's kind of unavoidable because of the vertical clear that just happened. It's going to generate a magic bubble, so you're always going to have a magic bubble that's going to get in the way. But ideally, you want to get these magic bubbles out of the way before you activate her ability. So for skill level 1, I got a chain of 15, skill level 2, I got a chain of 18, and skill level 3, I got a chain of 17. So because it doesn't matter here, that's why you're seeing these numbers are inconsistent, and it doesn't matter what skill level you have her at, it's all going to be standard. So overall, I think Roz is an okay Tsum. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you to spend your coins to try to get any copies of her for that matter. She's really not that great for any of the missions that we're going to have, and she's not good for coins, and her ability isn't necessarily that amazing either. So for that reason, I would recommend you to pass on Roz. And actually, Roz is going to end up in the premium box, so she's not even a limited Tsum. And what that means is that essentially you could get her at any time. As long as you have enough coins to get a premium box, then you're likely going to have a chance to get Roz even after this month. So let's take a look at what coins I earned for these game demonstrations here. For skill level 1, I ended up with 1,147 coins. Skill level 2, I got 1,325. And for skill level 3, I got 1,760. So as you can see here, nothing amazing. It's actually pretty poor. None of these game demonstrations were really good for coins. They're all below par. And keep in mind, I did play with the 5-4 and time boost on, so not really worth your investment here to even use any of the boosts. For score, I got 3.4 million for skill level 1, skill level 2 I got 3.9, and skill level 3 I got 5.3. So for scoring, nothing amazing. I think that if you don't break anything into the 10 millions, it's really not worth getting. So with that being said, I wouldn't recommend getting Roz and spending your coins. Honestly, this month is pretty much save your coins, and let's see what happens in March. But yeah, if you're interested in getting Roz, let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to see why someone would want to try to get Roz, so just let me know. Alright guys, so that's my review on Roz for these lower skill levels. And if you guys would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching.